anchored at Whitehaven. It was out with our power dive hooker, and 90 minutes of barnacle scraping later, the boat was nice and clean again. Once the charter boat crowd had left, we went in for a late afternoon swim on the beach. Then it was back to the yacht for sundowners and dinner, in readiness for a nice quiet night on the anchor.
So, nice morning at Whitehaven. I'm just packing up, getting ready to leave to go to Thomas Island. Beautiful day.
So off on another adventure today, Precious?
Yeah, off to Thomas Island.
Thomas
today.
Island, yep. We haven't been there before, so it's all new to us. We're just skirting down the side of Teague Island with a bit of tide going out with us. 2,000 revs doing 7.3 knots. Nice. So we've got about 6 hours of tide running with us today, for hopefully what's about a maybe 3 hour sort of a sail. So hopefully we'll get a nice little nor'easter today and maybe get the spinnaker up. We'll see. How'd you go in at Whitehaven Beach yesterday afternoon?
Well, it's nice in at Whitehaven. It's beautiful, but we got eaten alive by midges.
Again.
We're so itchy. We forgot
little.
to take the bloody bug spray with us.
Yeah, sucks, doesn't it?
It's such a shame. It's such a beautiful place, but you get eaten alive.
Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. Anyway, that's life up here in Queensland. Midges, mozzies.
And horseflies.
And the horseflies. Oh my God.
Huge.
There's one right now. Speaking of horseflies.
One less.
Ex-horseflies. Yeah, so a bit of tide ripping out through here at the moment, but it's all going the right way. Get out around the corner up ahead here and just see where we're going to go. Hopefully we've got the pole all set up, hoping for a spinnaker ride today. See how we go. There's Pentecost Island, looking spectacular as always. Come around here to Lindeman. That's the passage down between Lindeman and Shore Island. Got some sails up now, just shy of an angle. And the breeze has dropped, so we're down to 5 or 6 knots of breeze, so we're actually having a bit of a motor sail. This is Molle Island here. It's got an interesting little split running through it right down the southern end there. We're just going around the eastern side here of Bainham Island. The next one up ahead there is Compston Island and Mansell Island out off the bow there. Put the heady down now, just couldn't get an angle, so we're just motor sailing for a little bit. Hopefully it'll come good shortly. Still motor sailing, only got about 6 knots of breeze. Just a tiny bit too tight to actually sail this course. Once we clear Bainham Island up here, we can probably bear away a little bit. See if we get a glimpse again. Nice, yeah. I'd say they are on some fishies, changing directions a lot, eh? This is Compston Island. Just taking that to the east. And then up ahead is Triangle Island. This is Mansell Island. Nice little beach there on the sort of southwestern shore of it. Just running down the western side here of Triangle Island. It's pretty low Only a little small island, this one. And up ahead of us is Thomas, where we're headed. So here's the Navionics picture of Thomas Island. You see the little blue squares where we're going to head to, which is on the northwestern sort of side of the island, I guess. The forecast is actually for nor'easters and easterly swell, but I'm just looking up here and I'm thinking that swell looks like it's coming off our port bow. So I was going to go to this anchorage on the southeastern sort of side there, but I think the swell might be getting in there a bit, so we're going to go for the one on the northern side. Even if the nor'easter blows in there a bit, I'm not too worried about that. I'd rather get out of the swell, I think, so we'll try that north side first. So here we are, all anchored up at Thomas Island. Beautiful spot here. Magic views out from here. Looking back up where we came from, Mansell Island to the right. This is the little island in the anchorage with a little beach on it. That's just looking out to the west. On the beach up there. Yeah, it's an awesome spot. Just going to pack a bit of lunch, a couple of beers, a little beach tent, some bean bags. Head over to the beach. Oh, and some insect repellent. Today's piece of paradise, Thomas Island. So every now and then you get one of those days where you just got to pinch yourself and think, wow. I think today's one of those days. Got this little beach at Thomas Island here, all to ourselves. Just absolutely epic. It's one of those days at the end of a season you look back and think, wow, that was just such an awesome day. Hey, what's going on back there? So back behind us there is Thomas Island, where we stayed last night. We decided to leave there this morning. There was a bit of brown algal bloom sort of in the anchorage and the beach wasn't so pleasant. We went over there this morning, flew the drone for a while, had a look around. It's so calm and still today, we thought we'd do a bit of moving just to get some breeze across the deck. Have a look at the conditions today out here. It's supposed to be north to northeasterly 10 to 15 today. It's more like 1 knot. It's right on the nose what's there. So we've made a move today. We've left Thomas Island, which is basically back behind us. So Thomas Island's way back there, over the top of the Bimini. We're just coming down past Goldsmith and Linney Island here. And then up in front is our destination today. That's actually Carlisle Island. You can see just off the tip of Linney. And we're going to go to Brampton, which is next door to that. It's supposed to be northerly today, northerly tomorrow. It's supposed to be an easterly swell, but I don't know. Looks like it's coming on the bow to me. I'd call that southeast, but I'm thinking we might park on the northern side of Brampton just so that if there is some breeze comes up, we'll have it to cool the deck down a bit. And it'll get us out of this swell that looks like it's coming on the bow to me. Looks kind of southeast. No sailing so far. We had the headsail up, motor sailing for about 20 minutes. We had like a sou'wester of all things. And then it went to nothing, so just motoring today. So here we are, just passing the eastern side of Linney Island. You might be able to just see the end of Goldsmith there. And then up ahead here, we've got Tinsmith Island. And then in the background behind there is where we're headed today, Carlisle and Brampton, just to the right of the bow. She's a glass off today. Very, very calm. No fish yet, unfortunately. Got my rig here, got the little charter special. Got some 50-pound braid on there. Little ugly stick. It's only about a 5 kilo, 6 kilo, something like that weight. Pretty light, but certainly more than ample to catch your mackerel. Get a marlin jump on there, could be interesting, but I've only got a little minnow lure on, a little diver, so unlikely to get a marlin, I think. Certainly unlikely to land it if we do. So one of the bigger dramas of cruising around this area at this time of the year are these little suckers. Dirty big March flies, we call them down south, horse flies. They're just everywhere. It's a pain in the butt. We're just approaching Coffin Rock with finger and thumb rocks in the background. And then up ahead, we've got Brampton, Carlisle just behind the headsail there. So we've got a little bit of breeze sprung up, only 5 or 6 knots still, on the side at least, so at least we've got a little bit of an angle. Not a lot of breeze, but it's just helping us along. Only got a few miles to go there, so I don't think we'll bother putting the mainsail up. We'll just motor on down there. Got going over here, Precious?
Well, this is my pile of rubbish.
Right. Boss fly. That's all off the beach at Thomas Island.
At Thomas Island. Yep. Couple of thongs.
Yep. And then you've been adding to your shell collection, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Look at these ones. This is beautiful.
Very spectacular.
of algal bloom stuck on the surface at the moment. That bit back there was green and smelly. Yeah, look at this. We're just coming around the corner now, around the western point. Went in near the resort. It was a little bit swelly and a bit exposed there, so we're going to come around into this sort of more western bay today. Looks pretty nice in here though. A couple of boats in there already,
So this is late afternoon in Western Bay on Brampton Island. We got in sort of about 2 o'clock or so. I couldn't film at that stage because the march flies just about carried me away. I've never seen them as bad. So we basically had to just go downstairs and hide. But it's pretty good now. They've left us alone now. Beautiful looking sunset over here. So we're off again, leaving Western Bay there at Brampton. Been driven out of there by the march flies. So we're on our way south now. Going to head down to Keswick Island, to Victor Bay, which is basically just up ahead there. Hopefully it'll be fly free. Beautiful ocean out here today, not much breeze, got a 4 or 5 knots from behind, so we're just going to motor. Hopefully it'll be nice down there. Get a bit of swimming in and hopefully a bit of snorkeling, and then into Mackay tomorrow before the southerly comes in. See you later, Keswick. See you next year. As for you march flies, I'll be happy to never see you again. Not as bad as they were at Brampton, but still a little bit annoying. But it's a pretty good spot there at Victor Bay. So a bit of a sad day, this one for me. This is our last sail for the season.
Oh no.
At least it looks like it's going to be a nice one. We just left Victor Bay at the bottom of Keswick Island. We're on our way over to our marina berth over at Mackay, where we're going to get the boat slipped in next week, I think it is. And then we're going to bail out, head home, and basically have a couple of months, 2 or 3 months back home. Then come back up again next season, start again. So a beautiful little breeze here today. It's only fairly light, it's about 9 knots. But it's nice and on the side, so beautiful reaching angle. Basically got full main, our little number 3 jib as normal. And basically just cruising along quite nicely. As you can see, we're doing our 6 knots. Always happy when we got 6. So this will be a pretty nice last sail. Just got a couple of hours, only about 14 miles I think over to Mackay. So there was a couple of reasons to go back into the marina at Mackay. We've got a marina berth there, so our plan was to come home for Christmas, and so it was cheaper to leave it in our marina berth, obviously. We also wanted to get the boat slipped while we were up there. It's been sort of 18 months or so since it was done last, and I noticed the last time that I jumped in and swam the boat at Whitehaven Beach there, it had only been about 5 or 6 weeks since I'd done it previously to that, and there was a lot of growth on the bottom as far as hard shells go, barnacles basically. So I think the antifoul had well and truly seen its better days, and it was time to get that redone. So rather than leave it 3 months and let it sit around on the marina and just get dirtier and dirtier and have to clean all that off when it went up on the slip, we decided we'd actually do it before we came home, and hopefully then it'd be in a reasonable state when we arrived back up there. So there was a couple of days of getting the boat ready to do that, and we pulled it out on the marina slipway there, and yeah, it all went fairly well. We had one little bit of damage to the side of the the boat, one of the boot stripes got scratched in the process of docking it into the cradle.
Shit!
But yeah, otherwise looked nice and clean. Got the rudder bearings done while we were up there too, which is really nice. The guys there at Finesse Marine at Mackay did a really good job on that. So yeah, we got all that done. And then it was basically just time to start stripping the boat down to come home. Because we were leaving it through cyclone season, we had to get all the, basically get all the covers off, all the sails off, take the bimini off, boom bag, yeah, just strip everything off that we thought could potentially get blown away, and yeah, try and get it as safe as we could. I had to make up some new mooring lines for the marina berth there, and yeah, so we spent a bit of time getting it all packed away, dodging the showers. We had to try and get everything packed away while it was nice and dry, so there was a bit of planning to do that, but we got it all done. Yeah, and then it was time to just jump on the plane and fly home. So we wanted to get home in early December. Our son was going away for 3 or 4 weeks over to the States and Canada, so we wanted a week with him before he went away. So yeah, we flew home from Mackay Airport. Had a funny thing happen at the airport. The fire alarm actually went off. I got a bit of a giggle out of seeing how unresponsive the crowd was to a fire alarm. It was quite funny, I thought, at the time. Might be your last. So we get on our flight to go home, and we get to Brisbane Airport, ready for our transfer onto a flight from Brisbane to Sydney, only to find out that they changed our flight to the following morning at 5:30 in the morning. So I don't know what was going on with that, but anyway, we were lucky enough to get onto a later flight that night, so we didn't have to try and sleep in the airport. Yeah, so we get home back to Gosford, all ready to spend a bit of time with our son before he went overseas, and I come down with COVID within 48 hours of getting off the boat. So obviously picked it up on the plane or the train or something. So I was locked into my room for the next week before Daniel left, so he didn't get it, and Sam followed about 2 or 3 days later. So it was a pretty uneventful sort of arrival back home. Couldn't really do anything for the first week except stay in the house. But yeah, got over that. We had a few jobs to do. Obviously there hadn't been any gardening being done for the last probably 6 months at least. So yeah, there was a lot of gardening, a lot of gurneying, washing walls and driveways, and cleaning up all the lawns around the place that hadn't been mowed for ages, and lots of leaves, and yeah, just general house tidying up to do. We did have a big stack of wood out downstairs that we had to split, so we got onto that. So this is one of the jobs we had to do when we got home. We had a heap of wood lying around, so we decided to hire the greatest invention known to mankind, a log splitter. Got stuck in. Yeah, just about filled our wood piles. Yeah, got a nice pile of wood going. We had a lovely Christmas. You can probably see the nice big table here in the background. So we get Sam's family over for Christmas lunch. So we have a big Christmas lunch, and then this year we ended up going over to my mother's place for dinner. So just up the road a little bit, catch up with my family. Boxing Day down in Sydney as well. Went and saw Sam's sister Ali and her husband Issam. Issam's got a seafood distribution business, so it's always a pretty nice spread when you go down there. We had some beautiful sashimi, nice prawns, scampi, lobster, oysters, the whole schmear. So a beautiful day down there. And yeah, then it was just back home to spend a few months, or a couple of months anyway, back on the coast here. So yeah, just hanging out, spending a bit of time with our dogs. We've got a little Pomeranian named Coco, who Sam's very, very fond of. And my son's also living with us at the moment. He's got a nice little farm-bred Kelpie named Obi, who is a very energetic dog as well. So yeah, Obi's, he loves to run when we go on our walks along the foreshore down here, whereas Coco's a little bit more of a swimmer and a roller in the sand. So interesting taking those guys for a little stroll along the shore. There it is, the famous commando crawl. Tummy drying technique. It's a beautiful, quiet, woody sort of area where we live here. It's a beautiful leafy outlook out the back, and there's a nice little reserve runs along Avoca Lake here down to the beach. So yeah, it's a beautiful spot to take the dogs for a walk. So otherwise, it's just going to be enjoying a bit of home life. Things are always nice and easy when you're at home. I always find that there's plenty of power. The bed never rocks and rolls around everywhere. Plenty of water. Easy to get to the shops when you've got a car. Yeah, just life is just, it's all very simple when you're at home. So it's nice to catch up with some friends. It's easy to get out and about, and yeah, no, it's a good thing. So nice to have a bit of a break from boat life, and then we'll probably head up. I've got a significant birthday coming up at the start of March, so we've decided to hang around for that. And then, yeah, we'll be back into it again next season. So thanks everyone who's been watching the videos. I mainly do them just as a way to have a bit of a diary for myself later on down the track. Yeah, I'm thinking that when I'm a bit too old to actually do it in person, it'll be great to be able to look back on these videos and remember the days when I could. So yeah, that's the main reason I do it. But thanks for watching anyway, and hopefully see you again next season. Bye now.